How much do you want to pay for the NFL and college football season? You decide how much you want to save. Right now, WagerTalk is offering their lowest price for the 2021 NFL and college football seasons. From now through the start of the regular season, we are offering special early bird pricing, but these prices will increase by $20 per sport and $30 for the college football and NFL combo every week until the season kicks off. Save up to $200 this week by buying your favorite WagerTalk capper for the package, and remember, the longer you wait, the less you save.
All right, guys, welcome in. Happy Friday, the final Friday of July 2021. Hard to believe, but that is where we're at. Welcome into another edition of the Pony Pundits, powered by WagerTalk.com. End of July, maybe, but we've also got one big stakes race coming up this Saturday, the 31st. And it will land us in Saratoga. And we've landed, in fact, right in between two of the best horse handicappers you're going to find here. They are known as the Pundits, the Pony Pundits. Marco D'Angelo in the house. Sig here with us. Both can be found, of course, at WagerTalk.com. Gentlemen, happy Friday to you. Exciting weekend of racing with Del Mar in full swing, Marco. As well as Saratoga East and West are covered this weekend. How was your week? How'd it go last weekend in the Eddie Read?
Yeah, it went real well for me in the Eddie Read with United pulling the upset. And, me and my partner in crime here, we have a little rivalry between us all the time. So, I was talking some smack with some text with them. And as soon as the race was over, I think I sent him United We Stand in the race. But, he's had his share of busting my stones as well during the course of the stakes season. So it was enjoyable for me last week. We'll see if we disagree this week. Somehow I don't think we are, though. We'll see what happens here on the show.
Every time we come on here, Sig, it's just Marco throwing shot after shot at you. Do you want to give him his due for last week's Eddie Read? The floor is all yours, Sig. I wish your microphone was, though, however, so we can get, maybe we can get Sig's mic back on. Yeah, you are what we call in the business, muted, I think is the word that we're looking for there, Sig. So we've got a little mute going on. Let's see if he can crank it up here a little bit, and we'll get that going. How about now, Sig? You got it? Look at him. Now he's pushing buttons here. I love it. How about now, Sig? Let me hear you. You never sounded better, Marco said. All right, so stand by. We'll get you going there in just 1 second. Marco, I'm going to turn it back to you here, my friend. I want you to talk to me here a little bit about this time of year in racing with Saratoga, of course, and with Del Mar going on. A lot of people say, it's a dead time of year in horse racing. Not really with the kind of money we're talking about, especially tomorrow at Saratoga in race number 9.
Yeah, Joe, especially with the 3-year-old crop, these are races that are going to be setting up for the Breeders' Cup in November. These horses are only going to have, probably one more start before the Breeders' Cup. So it's going to determine where these horses, if they are going to make the move to the Breeders' Cup, which will be held this year at Del Mar in their winter meet in the first Saturday in November. So we'll be looking forward to that. And, we're still trying to sort out Horse of the Year. We've got, obviously Essential Quality, who we're going to be talking about in this race, probably the front runner for Horse of the Year. But obviously Hot Rod Charlie was making a bold statement to throw his name in the hat until he got disqualified in the last race in the Haskell. Still, he won the race. People know that he won the race. We'll see how that does with the voters. So we'll go from there and see if these horses have that showdown in November, which could determine who gets Horse of the Year.
Yeah, no, there's still plenty to be determined here, I think, Marco. And I'm going to give Sig one last chance to lay it out a line here. Now, I did ask him if he wanted to give you props, and all of a sudden his mic didn't work, and I find that interesting, Sig. So why don't you go ahead? If you want to give Marco his props, I'll give you the floor once again. What do you got, my man? Welcome in.
Thanks for having me, Joe. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, you're good.
Unfortunately.
You got me now? Okay. Well, you know what they say about flying squirrels? Every once in a while you find a nut, and that was what Marco found last week at United.
It happens, Sig. I get it, but, listen, we recognize we got another race, obviously, this weekend at Saratoga, big race. In the ninth race there at Saratoga with the Jim Dandy. We're going to go over. It's only a short field, 6 horses. And before we go ahead and do that, I just want to let you guys know that, like Marco said, there's still a lot to be determined here between now and the end of the year, but there's no reason for you not to make this weekend a profitable weekend. And you can do so with both of these gentlemen, including Sig, who's got his daily racing reports available every race day at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, guys, exclusively at wt.buzz/Sig. That is his page at WagerTalk. All of the races that he is in, he's got it broken down for you and those daily racing reports. No reason for you not to head over there and make it all week long a profitable day at the track. And Marco, well, he continues to be red hot here, guys. Baseball now, since the All-Star break, 67% he is hitting. Guys, we are talking a ridiculous amount of profits for his clients. And right now, including the horse racing and the Jim Dandy this weekend, you can get every one of Marco's selections in the MLB at the track. 3-day all-access pass, just $69. That's right, there's $69. You get every play across the board for Marco over the next 3 days for just $69. Head over to WagerTalk.com and take advantage of that at Marco's page. All right, guys, it is time to dive in here to Saratoga, the Grade 2 $600,000 Jim Dandy. Only 6 3-year-olds, but it does have 4 graded stakes winners, including some from the Belmont, along with 2 runner-ups of the Kentucky. And if I keep seeing Essential Quality, I'm going to have nightmares, because that's all we talk about on this damn show. So, Marco, are we starting with you or are we starting with Sig here today?
Well, you got a 15-to-1 shot out of the gate, so that means me.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, yeah. That's perfect. All right, Marco, coming to your way with Dr. Jack, and who better than Todd Pletcher and Jose Ortiz to start things off? But 15-to-1, talk to me about Dr. Jack.
Well, this is a horse, and I'll tell you, as we go through the card, we're going to find out that I really feel that it's only 3 horses have a shot to win this race, and then they're going to be racing for the bottom end of the exotics. But Dr. Jack is an interesting horse at 15-to-1. He's only had 3 career starts, late bloomer, as we like to say. And you've heard me say it over and over again. You can see big jumps in improvement on these horses. Those horses that only have 3 or 4 starts, we don't know what the ceiling is yet. And what I like about Dr. Jack is he does have tactical speed. He's not necessarily a front runner, but he breaks out of the gate quickly and then decides where he wants to be, which is usually right behind the pace setters. The thing that I really like about Dr. Jack is if you look at his 3 starts, buyer speed figures, each one of his starts, he has made big jumps on the rating. His first buyer speed figure was 74. Then he had an 80 and then an 89 last time. Now, granted, 89 is not going to win this race, but if he takes another step forward the way he has in the first 3, he can be right there. The other thing that's a big plus for Dr. Jack is he does pick up Jose Ortiz. This is a big jockey improvement, in my opinion. Yes, he had Paco Lopez on him last time out and Luis Saez before that. But we know when it comes to New York racing, it's the 2 Ortiz brothers and then everybody else. So I'm looking for Dr. Jack to make an improvement. He's very similar to another horse in this race, but he's at 15-to-1, giving me more value. And we'll be talking about the other horse next up for me.
All right, well, we'll move on to number 2 here, Sig, a Mask Parade, 4-to-1 here on the early line at the Jim Dandy Stakes. Talk to me about Mask Parade.
Well, Joe, I know myself and a bunch of our viewers have been waiting anxiously for Masquerade to make his long-awaited return since his big victory in the Ohio Derby at Thistle Downs last month. Okay, guys, a little bit of sarcasm in there for me, for you. He was bet down at Thistle Downs in the Ohio Derby to the post-time favorite in there, and I do expect some regression from him off of that race. He ran a really big race in there. The colt out of Upstart he ran his first race. He's going to run his first race on Saturday without Lasix. And if you watched the show before, you guys know that with these new stakes rules and the Lasix not being used on the horses in most of the major stakes races, I try to pull back a little bit. I want to see how that horse runs without Lasix. If you look back on the past performances, Masquerade's had Lasix in every one of his starts in here. And he's a horse that had a hard time breaking his maiden. He truly never actually broke his maiden. He won via disqualification to break his maiden before winning an allowance and then coming back and winning the Ohio Derby there at Thistle. Al Stahl is a good trainer. He's bringing in his regular rider and Miguel Mena to ride him. And I think he's going to have a shot in this field here. I think he's going to be a little overbet, though. And I'm going to use him underneath all my tickets here, but I don't really consider him a top win contender.
Listen, you know Marco remembers that exact race at Thistle Downs, okay? So let's not make fun. Marco was this close to actually hopping on a plane and going there. So we're going to go to number 3 here, Marco, for you. Weyburn here, 6 to 1. It should be 60 to 1 with you breaking it, Dad. You talked about the other half of the Ortiz brother. Irad Ortiz Jr. Riding number 3, Weyburn. Talk to me about this horse.
Yeah, this horse is 6 to 1, and he's going to get bet more than that because he did finish second in his last start to Mandaloun. We all know Mandaloun is a horse that always ends up getting, in trouble in races, so to speak, but won the race last time, had the problems in his last start. I'm looking for this one because they are going to bet Irad. He's going to get overbet, in my opinion. And when I said the comparison, if you look at the two races out of that same race, he did finish in front of Dr. Jack. So people are going to bet Weyburn over Dr. Jack. But we're looking at a huge difference. We know what Weyburn is. This is a horse now that's got 6 starts. He's pretty much what he is. And his buyer speed figures, although they're a little bit faster than Dr. Jack's, they're not that much faster. He's got a 93 in his last race, which, as we said, Dr. Jack went 89. Dr. Jack's only had 3 career starts. If I can get 15 to 1 on a horse that's improving versus a horse that's 6 to 1 and I expect is going to get overbet because of the jockey change, the value for me, just like in sports betting, Joe, is with Dr. Jack. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to use Weyburn on my tickets. Yes, I will use them in the 3rd and 4th spot on my tickets for the tries, but I will be keying on other horses. This is a horse, tactical speed, like we said with Dr. Jack, will either be leading the race or sitting just off of it. He sat just off the pace. Well, he sat on the flank of the lead horse, which was a huge long shot in that last race. I think that horse went off, 30 to 1 or higher that he was chasing, and it went slow fraction. So there was no reason for him to make a move. He did make the first move trying to hold off Mandaloun, who ran him down in the stretch. I like this horse to finish on the bottom end of the exotics, but there's better horses in this race, and we'll be talking about them with the next 2.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 that we certainly know. We'll start with the number 4 horse, Keep Me in Mind here, Sig. Early line 6 to 1. Joel Rosario on top. This horse has only raced in stakes races. I think outside of his very first race, it's we're talking about some big money races here. So what do you think about Keep Me in Mind? Is it we cash in another ticket here with him?
You're exactly right about that, Joe. Is ever since his maiden race, he's been racing graded stakes races. And he proves time and time again that he belongs with this class of horses. He always shows up for the race. He's always part of the mix at some point in the race. And usually with his deep closing style, he's making that late run and usually picking up a part of the ticket in here. What I like about this horse in this spot here is the addition of Joel Rosario. You guys know that I feel Rosario is the best, basically closing rider in there. He times the when he gets his horse going really well at the end of a race, dirt and turf, and it's going to be the first time aboard. Keep me in mind for Rosario. So I think that's going to be a big addition to the horse in here. Last time in the Ohio Derby, he finished third, closing again in there. He ran the Preakness. He ran the Kentucky Derby, 4th and 7th against better fields in here. So he's raced better quality fields. The essential qualities, the only one with more class in this field here. I think that the addition of Rosario and Diodoro working him, if you look, he's been drilling him pretty well here at the workout tab. And I think if Rosario times this right, he's definitely going to get himself a piece of the ticket. I'll definitely use him underneath on all my exotics. Keep me in mind. Keep him in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. With Rosario and number 5, Marco, I mean, what more can you say about this horse who just, what an amazing job of pretty much outrunning Hot Rod Charlie in the Belmont Stakes. Comes in as easily the favorite here. Talk to me about essential quality. What are we going to see?
Obviously, the horse to beat, Joe. He's done everything asked of him. He's had one loss in his career, and that was in the Kentucky Derby. Didn't get the type of trip that he wanted. Still was game in the lane. Only got beat a length, finishing 4th. And if you remember in that race, there were basically 4 horses across the track the entire way down the stretch. Had a wide trip. Look at the Beyer speed figures. I keep going back to the speed figures in this race. This is another horse that, as good as essential quality has been, and now we're talking this will be his 8th lifetime start. So we say, hey, he's pretty much what he is. Look at his Beyer speed figures. They have improved in every start. You just don't see that on horses continuing to go. We don't know what the cap is for this horse. He came off the grueling spring meet trying to get into the Derby, got to the Derby, had the grueling race in the Derby, and then come back. And what a race the Belmont was. We said the fastest fraction set in the Belmont first quarter in that. Chased the horse down, and you would have thought he would have won for fun based on the fractions in front of him, but had to still fight off a game horse to the wire and showed his class. He is the horse to beat. I'll have him on top when we get to our best bets, but I really do think there's a horse in here that's going to give him all he can handle tomorrow, and I'll talk about that when we give our 4 horses.
All right, we'll take a look at the cards here in just a second, but let's talk about the number 6 horse here, Sig. Risk Taking, Manny Franco and Chad Brown here. We haven't seen much of this horse in a little while, I believe. So what do you think about Risk Taking? 15-1 early line.
Well, Joe, I think the name's appropriate on this one. I think you're taking a big risk with your bankroll if you're considering betting risk taking in this spot here. The horse started out, had some rough patches trying to get through, breaking his maiden. Finally broke it here in December of last year. Came back and won the Withers, and hopes were high for him with the connections. Klaravich Stables is one of the biggest breeding and owning operations, and Chad Brown's probably the top trainer, or one of the top trainers for Fletcher on the New York circuit. So there were high hopes for him. He went off as the post-time favorite in the Wood Memorial and basically never got moving in that race. They brought him back in this, and again, didn't show anything in those races here. Excuse me. Chad Brown gets to that winner's circle at Saratoga a lot. I mean, he basically points for this meet all year long with his horses here. But risk taking, you're, like I said earlier, you're taking a big risk with your bankroll here. The fact that the Ortiz brothers and Rosario, who both usually ride for Brown, opted off for other horses in this field says a lot about how they feel about this horse here. And I think, like I said, you're taking a big risk with them. I'm going to be leaving them off my tickets. I ain't going to be taking that big risk with them, but I don't think risk taking is worth taking a risk.
All right, no risk for Sig on risk taking. See if you can follow that there. All right, guys, so 6 horses in the field here for the Jim Dandy Stakes Saratoga Race 9 tomorrow. We'll take a look at both Marco and Sig's cards, see how they're going to go ahead and approach this race. But first, just a quick reminder over at WagerTalk.com. Sig's daily racing reports up each racing day by 9 a.m. You can grab those at wt.buzz/Sig. And Marco, get 3 days, all access, all of his plays this weekend, whether it be on the diamond or at the track. All yours for $69, 3 days of all access. Nobody has been hotter than Marco in the MLB. So hop on board. Make sure you visit these guys today. All right, Marco, coming back to you, my man. Let's take a look at that card. Tell us how you're approaching the Jim Dandy.
Well, as we said, the horse to beat, Joe, is Essential Quality. But I want to talk about Keep Me in Mind. This was one of the even horses, so I didn't get to talk about him. I think Keep Me in Mind has a big, big shot on Saturday, and you're going to get a nice price on this horse. I will be pounding the exacta here both ways with him in Essential Quality. And here's why I like Keep Me in Mind so much. We've talked over and over about this horse. Whenever the gate opens, he's the last one out of it every time. And he puts himself behind the 8 ball, so to speak, because he's got so much ground to make up. Look at his last 3 races. He breaks dead last, 9th. Race before that, breaks 10th. Race before that, breaks 19th in the Kentucky Derby. You've got all those horses to maneuver around. But if you go back and look at his last race and look at the way they trained the horse leading up to that race, they really were getting this horse fired up. And out of the gate, he actually broke well in that race, but got bumped, and that threw him off and ended up having him sitting last again. In this race, even if he breaks dead last, he's only going to have a field of 6. That means there's only 5 horses in front of him. If you go back and watch that last race when he came flying to finish 3rd, only beaten a half a length in that race, he was 4 wide the entire turn. Joel Rosario, the driver jockey change in this one is absolutely huge. Nothing against David Cohen, but we've talked about Diodoro. He's a guy that dominates on the smaller circuit, Midwest tracks, but when he has to go against the big boys, it's a little bit tough. And one of the reasons is his loyalty to David Cohen. Cohen's a good jock, but he's a better jock in the Midwest, not on the big stage. He's getting the best jockey that's been on him. Other than one other start, if you go way back to last year, Jose Ortiz rode him, and look at the line. This horse came flying out of the clouds to finish 3rd as a 2-year-old. Look for Rosario to find a ground-saving trip with this horse, and he'll be closer and will be flying in the stretch. To me, this looks like a cold punch exacta 5-4, 4-5, and then I'll be doing combinations with some of the other horses behind that. But I like Keep Me in Mind. I talked a lot about him, letting you know 6-1 is going to be a gift, I think, in this race, and that's where the value's at. Mask Parade, this is a horse Sig made jokes about the Ohio Derby. If you remember, that was my long shot horse. He was 8 or 10-1 on the morning line and ended up going off the favorite. That's the power of the Pony Pundits. Yep. Everybody watching us and giving you that information, they all jumped on board. So I like him in the 3rd spot. And then we talked Dr. Jack is really just the value horse. Him and Wayburn is interchangeable in that 4th spot, 3rd and 4th spot on the ends of the tries. But I'm top heavy, 5-4, 4-5.
There we go. Essential Quality at the top. We'll see here, Sig, if you agree with Marco. What does your card look like here for the Jim Dandy?
Well, Joe, we do agree on the top choice here. I think Essential Quality towers over this field on paper, and he will do the same on the track. I think Saez is going to get him out to the lead off of that 5th spot, the post position, and I think he's basically going to control the race. I don't see anybody in here that's going to want to go with him early, so I think he's going to be able to set the fractions he wants, which, in my opinion, actually what Marco said about Keep Me in Mind and being able to sit closer to the pace and so forth, I think Saez sets lower fractions in here, slower fractions. It's not going to set up well for Keep Me in Mind. I use Keep Me in Mind, as you guys can see, in my 3rd spot, but I think it sets the race up a lot better for the 3 here, Wayburn, who I actually didn't get to talk about either. The Jim Jerkins trainee out of Pioneer that now gave Mandaloon all he could handle in a battle in the Pegasus at Monmouth last month here. And I think he's really sitting on a really big effort. The addition of Irad Ortiz on this horse is a huge step up in here. Ortiz knows Saratoga. Ortiz knows the other jocks in this field. And I think he's going to work on a really nice trip here for Weyburn. Marco thinks he's going to get bet down here, but I disagree. I think Keep Me in Mind and Masquerade are both going to take a lot of the attention in this field. I think Risk Taking will take some with the Chad Brown connection. So I think Jim Jerkins, Weyburn, and Irad Ortiz are going to team up in here. I think we're going to see a big effort out of him. I'm looking more for a 5-3 and 5-4 exactas. If you want to flop it the other way for a small amount, I don't think it would hurt you, but I would go like 3-4 over the 5, key in the 5 in both spots. But the fact that Jerkins and Irad, they don't team up that often. They've won 1 out of 3 and hit the board. But the big fact, too, with Jim Jerkins is when he puts a horse in and steps him up into a grade stakes or a class up move, he's winning 33% of the time, and he hits the board over 60% of the time. So, I mean, like I said, Weyburn's ready for a big race in here. I'm looking 5-3 and 5-4. And then I used 2 Masquerade on the end there. Like I said, I think he's down for a little regression off this spot, but I can still see him being a factor in hitting the board. So essential quality on top, and a number of horses can finish second and third.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. Race number 9 at Saratoga, the Jim Dandy. I think Pletcher's going for his 6th Jim Dandy win here in this race with Dr. Jack as well. So a lot of big names, a lot of big jockeys, some great horses in this race tomorrow. But don't forget, over at WagerTalk.com, Sig's going to have his full daily racing report up by 9 a.m. for you to grab. And, of course, Marco will as well, not to mention all of his MLB plays this weekend. 3 days, all access, just $69 there. Visit Marco and Sig and make it a profitable weekend. So that'll do it for us here on Pony Pundits. We'll be back again, of course. More stakes races coming your way as we end July and we head into August. So on behalf of Marco D'Angelo and Sig, I'm Joe Ranieri. Guys, best of luck with your selections here this weekend. And we'll be back again next Friday, so come back and join us. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you then.
What's better than $2 Tuesday at Sports Memo? How about Freebie Friday? We can't go any lower than free, and each and every Friday we'll hand select a best bet from one of the hottest handicappers on the site and give it out for free. All you have to do is each and every Friday, head over to sportsmemo.com. The Freebie Friday will be listed on the homepage, and you'll be just a click away from a free bet.